Hello folks, just setting up the camera here. Um, yeah. Well, it's nice and warm here. I was actually in the middle of, I was just scraping off a decoration that I did. Well, it was a decorative thing I did on this little tea bowl, and then I felt I wanted to do something else, and I did it, but I really didn't like it. So that happens sometimes, you know, when you're working with a brush and you do something and it doesn't always. I try to be spontaneous, you know, and let the decoration be of the moment, if you know what I mean. And and sometimes, you know, you're just so tempted to do just something else or an addition. And I did these little motifs like this one here and another one here, and then I felt I had to do something in between, you know, like you see a blank space and you feel you've got to fill it. And I realized when I started to do it, I suddenly realized, no, stop. Yeah, actually, this little piece, this little tea bowl, is going in my little small kiln. So, what I've got to do is just get the cone ready. So I've got the cone here. This is a cone 10, and I know you all probably know how to do this, but anyway, maybe some of you don't know how to do it. So take a little piece of clay, and I've got some silica sand here, so you can pour out a little bit of silica sand, and then take your piece of clay and work the silica sand, you see, work the sand into the clay, you see, like this. Alright? Make sure it's well mixed in, the sand. Okay, then if you take your cone, you'll notice that the cone has got a flat on the bottom. If you put the flat down, you'll find that you've got the right angle for the cone, you see. You can take your little piece of clay, and then I make it into a little bit of a sausage, and just wrap it around the base of the cone. Make sure it's joined up properly. Okay? You just need to make sure that the bottom here is flat on the table or wherever you're doing it, on the flat surface. Okay, and when you've done that, I take a needle tool, and just put lots of little holes in the clay there. You see? That's because it's a raw piece of clay, so the holes will help the clay to breathe so it won't blow up in the kiln. Okay, so that's that. What I'm going to do now is, actually I've already done one here that's already dry, so I'm going to take the dry one. I'll go over to the kiln, which you'll see I'm getting some pots in there. You see, I've got the central prop there where I'm going to put the cone on top of. So I'm just going to put that there like that. Now I'm trying to learn from my mistakes, because last time here's where I had the decoration, so I'm just rubbing that over a bit there. So if you do an oxide decoration, if you're very careful, you can scrape it off with a knife, and then just gently rub it over. Okay, so I'm going to take that piece, put it in its place. This is just a bowl with a Shino glaze on it, this one, and a bit of iron oxide on top. So the cone is actually pretty close to the top of the kiln, so I better check with a straight edge that the cone isn't going to be the cone is actually a little bit borderline, you know what I mean? So I may just have to put another piece of not quite so thick as that, if I can find. This is the question. If I can find. Well, I have found. I've got another piece of broken brick here. It's not quite so thick. So I'm going to put that there, and then put the cone on top. That's better. Okie dokie. I've got to make sure I don't have a proper spy hole, you see, in this kiln. Not yet, anyway. So what I do is there's a crack here in the brick, in the side down there. There's a crack here in the brick, you see. So I put a screwdriver in there and I just open the brick up, and I can see the cone. It's very high tech, I tell you. Okay, so what I've got to do now is put the top on the kiln, the lid, which I've got here. So I'll take this guy. He's going to go there, and then this one is going to go there, like that. And now, for my next trick, You can see my burner down there. It's one of those weed burners. We're going to get ready to light him up. So at this point in time, what I should say is, so people don't come back to me, I take no responsibility, okay? I'm using a weed burner that does not have a auto safety cutoff device, all right? So if you do this kind of thing, you do it entirely at your own risk. All right, so, but I do this because I've done this for some time, and I like to think I'm experienced in some ways, so that although these don't have an automatic cutoff on them, I'm happy to take the risk. But for those of you out there who want to copy me and do this, okay, I take no responsibility. All right, I'm just saying that. As I live in the land of litigation, don't follow what I'm doing. Get one with a auto safety cutoff, unless you know what you're doing. So we're going to light the burner. Okay, so we're going to put it on a very gentle flame, just initially, especially if the cone pack is fresh and raw clay. You're going to want to just do this, and also you want to start your firings always on a low flame to drive off some of the moisture that may be still in the glazes. Okay? So as you can see, this is very Heath Robinson affair. You're probably going to ask me, well, who was Heath Robinson, for goodness sake? Well, Heath Robinson in England anyway. When you talk about something as being a very kind of a bit of a crazy apparatus, you know, you say, wow, it's a very Heath Robinson affair. It means Heath Robinson was some crazy eccentric inventor, you know, who was well known for all his contraptions. So that's where that comes from. So it is a very Heath Robinson affair, the kiln, but you know, it works because it's actually, although it appears very amateurish, and it is amateurish because it's made from love. That's where the word amateur comes from, isn't it? From love. Amar. For those of you who did Latin at school, amo, amas, amat, amamus, amatus, amant. So it's actually, although it looks a bit extraordinary, it's actually built on sound principles, if you know what I mean. So we're going to leave that now for a little while, just as I say, to warm. And I don't know if you can see, but there's coming out of the chimney there, if you look carefully, you can see some black smoke, a little bit of black smoke. You see there, just coming out with that wispiness there. That's actually because it's a yellow flame. It's rather got a lot of kind of carbon and soot. So initially, with a yellow flame, you will get a lot of sootiness. But then, as the flame turns to more of a blue flame, it then that sootiness is burnt away, and there's no more, and it's then more of an oxidizing flame. So, okay, folks. Well, I just wanted to show you that, lighting that up, and I'll tell you what. We'll come back a bit later when we are up to, you know, like a higher temperature. We can talk about it a bit more then, and I can show you the reduction and what's going on. Okay, okay, until next time, and yeah, keep practicing, of course. Bye bye.